Hi guys, welcome to Robin Hood Diaries this evening, today, whenever. As promised, I was going to do a deep dive on the movie For Keeps with Molly Ringwald, 1988. So let's put it into context. This movie was otherwise known as Maybe Baby, and it was actually released in certain markets as Maybe Baby. Maybe Baby, I don't know, maybe it was catchier, I don't know. The movie didn't really catch on. I got cast as a group. There was like a group of, I don't know, 6 of us that were cast at the same time. We all went to like the same callback together, and they just sort of assembled us together. It was directed by John Alvidson, who was, what is that movie where they're all running on the beach? Anyway, he won an Oscar for that, and so he was, he carried his own weight as a director. It was kind of a step down for him to do Maybe Baby For Keeps, whatever. But whatever, we all got to do what we got to do. It was really kind of for him though. But it had some good people in it. Kenneth Mars, co-starred as Randall Banikoff's dad. I mean, the guy is impossible not to be hilarious. But we were all trapped in this kind of bad film, written, by a very mediocre script. And it was a Molly Ringwald vehicle. Let's face it, it was a Molly Ringwald vehicle. They were just sort of tapping into whatever they could with her, and so she ended up with this. So we ended up half in Canada and half at the Star Trek stage what was Desilu, then became 3 other studios, but whatever. So half of it was there on a soundstage, really boring, and the other half was in Canada. So in Canada, the deal is that it's cheaper to film in Canada. At least it was at the time. It was a huge thing to film in Canada, for the film industry to go to Canada, because it was cheaper and the permits were easier and everything was easier, which really kind of sucked out a lot of industry stuff from here. So should have known. It should have been an omen. Most of our luggage was lost en route to Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is okay. I'll get to that in a second. But so en route to this godforsaken place in Manitoba, Canada, all of our luggage gets lost. So we're without luggage on the way into like the first evening or whatever it arrived, thank God. So it's sub-zero weather. This is hockey land. This is where hockey teams are, and oh my God, it was like, I don't know what snow inches are. It seemed like 6, 8, 10, 12, I don't know. It was, blustery, with the snow all the time and everything. And it was just friggin' cold. But like I said, cheaper to film in Canada, so whatever. So co-starring with me is Renee Estevez, or featured with me, whatever you want to say, who was a dear friend at the time, actress. Renee Estevez was the only one at my wedding, besides one other person. We were all assigned a girlfriend or boyfriend. I forgot the gal's name. She was co-star and head of the class, a series on television. She and I became boyfriend and girlfriend. And then Sharon Brown was in it. She's the one that took over for Jennifer Holliday in Dreamgirls. Much younger, much different. I listened to her tape incessantly of the recording that she did for this LA production. But I digress. And then there's Randall Batinkoff. Randall Batinkoff was an unknown who was sort of lured into this Molly Ringwald vehicle because he was adorable or whatever. And all I can say, Randall, is you did have your acting coach there every 4.5 minutes. So I don't know what's up with that, but it was really a no-brainer, this movie. So, whatever, to each his own. Could have paid me. So also in that mix was Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore was, relatively popular at the time for, I don't know, was he? I don't even know what he was on. MTV something, whatever. Anyway, so he was in it. Funny story with John Alvidson, Pauly Shore, in our location scene in Canada, could not get his lines right to save his life. And John Alvidson hollered out in front of everybody on location, "It's not Shakespeare!" So he got his lines right, like prontissimo. So again, we're all crammed into this hotel in the middle of nowhere. Whatever. I mean, there was a casino. We went to the casino. So that was interesting. So we're all crammed into this hotel, like, I don't know, Hilton or whatever the hell. And you guys, we drank like fishes. I am not kidding you. I don't want to say who, or not Pauley, not Molly Ringwald for sure, but all I remember mostly of that location shoot was drinking in the lobby. There were several fellow actors with me from the movie for about 2 nights minimum. I think it was 3 days, 2 nights. At this bar, like, polishing B-52 shooters like they were nothing. So, that ushered in a whole new era for me of drinking at 22 or whatever until I met my husband. But yeah, I could put them away. We all put them away. So, point being, I don't remember anything about this shoot other than being hungover. And everything that happened at the bar and the hotel rooms. But I don't know. I mean, I remember shooting this. It was ridiculous. They've picked this church in the middle of Canada, in the middle of Winnipeg, Manitoba, just to be this little cute solitary church in this pile of snow. So they ship us all up to Canada to do this one scene in a church. Which they shot, of course, exteriors, interiors. I mean, good God, we're in the middle of nowhere. Why not? And so this is like a highly politically incorrect scene. They're getting married. There's this Korean priest. There is a major language barrier with the priest that's supposed to be hysterical. I'm hungover. That's all I know is completely hungover. Just that's all I know. A hungover delirium. I mean, I function fine. Look at the movie. I'm cute and everything, but I'm hungover. So. Everything else was boring in LA. All the action was in Winnipeg. And I'll tell you, the funniest thing about the whole movie was the priest scene. Figures. Anyway, so that kind of wraps up my little deal on For Keeps. Again, like I said, otherwise in LA it was fairly boring. We shot on the soundstage of Star Trek, where Star Trek basically was when Lucille Ball championed it to stay on the air. But anyway, we were told it was the same sound stage, and it was the same sound stage at one point for I Love Lucy, so that was kind of cool. Scenes were boring, but whatever. It was the action was in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So I'll never forget that. I'll never forget my fellow co-stars, and ushering in a new age of drinking for me from 22 to 25. I met my husband 26, so I straightened up right quick. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that, really. We're going to move on to more stuff, this little mini marathon of mine. We've got, I don't know, another movie or two and one episode about commercials and my first acting job in a movie, in a TV movie. Series, whatever. Okay, so we'll get to that soon, and then we're going to wrap that up. I'm going to move into another 3 dare with the same topic, and then roll along, okay? So thanks for joining me as always, and I appreciate your company, and thank you for putting up with me and my stories, and I'll see you tomorrow, without a doubt. Okay, bye.